Hmm. Oh my. Hello YouTube and welcome to my Geek review once again. I'm CK Birch. I'm going to be leading us in our discussion of today's film, which is Superman Returns. Now, we all remember this film because we all saw the previews. We all thought, wow, this is going to be awesome. Bryan Singer directing this fresh off the X-Men films. He decided to go and make a Superman movie rather than make X-Men 3. And oh my god, this is gonna be so good. And I remember sitting down and watching it, and I remember walking out of the theater going, wow, that really was good. I think the haze of nostalgia has clouded my judgment because, in hindsight, Bryan Singer leaving the X-Men franchise was quite possibly one of the worst decisions we as a film-going audience could have possibly been recipient to. Because not only did we miss out on X-Men 3 directed by Bryan Singer, but we got Superman Returns directed by Bryan Singer. Now, to be fair, Superman Returns is still the best of the Superman films that have been released since 1978, and people are gonna feel a little about that statement, but come at me. Please, give me your commentary, because I've never liked the Richard Donner Superman. I've never liked that film. There are two things that made that film interesting and worthwhile. That was Christopher Reeve as Superman, because he was Superman. There has never been another actor who just was that character, and there could be nobody else really playing it without you eventually comparing them to that character. Hell, we don't even look at Christopher Reeve in other movies. We just go, that's Superman playing that guy going back in time by falling asleep and falling in love with Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman. We don't think of Christopher Reeve as anything other than Superman, even when we're talking about Christopher Reeve as a singular icon. A performance is just so iconic because it's just him. He is Superman. And then the second thing that was great that came out of the Richard Donner Superman film was John Williams' theme. John Williams was on a roll for like 20 years, thinking of the most iconic themes you could come up with, and even the ones that were outside of the Spielberg films were just blisteringly beautiful. Hit the three top themes of his that you can just start whistling and everybody will know what they are: Indiana Jones, Star Wars, and the Superman theme. They're just fucking brilliant. The rest of the Superman film, not so much. Gene Hackman was alright as Lex Luthor, but it was a special effects reel. And yeah, well, it made you think, God, a man can fly. And it made you believe in Superman. It didn't make me believe and or care in the rest of anything that was going on. It was, yeah, it's kind of akin to Richard Donner's Superman, with the exception of Christopher Reeve and John Williams' score. It's kind of a Michael Bay sort of a film. Sorry, I was in preparation of you throwing things at me. But it just... Lois Lane was annoying, and I didn't care about anyone else because they were just beleaguered comic book stereotypes. And it's just this pop movie blockbuster spectacle, but it's rousing and the special effects are fantastic, and I'll sit down and I'll watch the first Transformer movies and I'll have a great time. I can sit down and watch the Superman movie and have a great time. But it's not a great film. It's passable, and there are far, far, far better comic book films before and even since. So we don't even need to get into Superman 2, or 3 or 4. I actually think 4 is the best one for all its ludicrous cheesinesses because it almost seems to embrace how stupid the whole setup of what has come before in Superman 1, 2, 3. Because look, you might be shitting your pants every time you think about Superman drinking Johnny Walker Black and having a fight with himself and Richard Pryor. But don't you fucking look at me and talk about the ludicrousness of that film when in Superman the movie he flies around the world at super speed to make time go backwards, and in Superman 2 he kisses Lois Lane and makes her forget everything about who he is and their relationship they had together. Don't come at me with Superman 3 and Superman 4 and tell me that those are awful fucking movies when then go and ignore the travesties that is Superman 1 and Superman 2. Pop culture blockbusters, that's it. There's no depth, there's just, but people love it. And so I digress. Now, I rant and rave about the Richard Donner film and the sequels it spawned and the universe of that Superman because, and I truly believe this, the greatest weakness of Superman Returns is the fact that it hangs its hat on that coat rack. It hangs its hat on the coat rack of the Richard Donner Superman films, and that is what brings it down from point 1. Hear me out. Now, it literally is a sequel to Superman 2. If I remember correctly, they said that they were ignoring Superman 3 and 4, and they were imagining this as a sequel to Superman 2. Now, if that is what they were aiming for, they succeeded immensely at creating a wonderfully shitty film in line with those films, while still being better than any of the other ones. But by immediately setting it in that universe, what they've done is they have removed the need for exposition about Superman, his relationship to other characters, where he's gone, or why everyone is kind of freaking out that Superman disappeared. And so, rather than giving us the exposition of Superman and Lois Lane, we're just sort of supposed to pick up on it because we've seen it in other movies, so we don't really need to expand upon it here. Problem. Huge problem. We do need to see that. Because when the reveal about Lois Lane's son comes out, it's like, yeah, but what? If you haven't seen the other films, or if it's been years since you've seen the other films, maybe you missed the scene in Superman 2 where Superman and Lois Lane, while we didn't actually see him do it, there is that scene where they are lying naked in his Kryptonian bed, and to imply that there has been some doing going on. And oh my god, that's big. But then, if we're going to take this all and Superman had a baby with Lois Lane, but then he kissed her and made her forget all about it. See, we can't just throw that out the door. That's terrifying. That's horrible. That's ridiculous. Like, Superman is the worst deadbeat dad of all time. Now, there was a very interesting concept in Superman Returns. And the concept is this. What happens if Superman, protector of the world, decides that he's going to go investigate the remains of his home planet Krypton and see if there's anything left? And that journey takes him a grand total of 5 years to go out and come back. And he's left without a word, without so much of a goodbye, and now he's back. How do people feel about it? That's a great setup. They start with such a great setup, such an interesting premise, and it is slowly but surely swirling around the edges until it is sucked into the gutter of the toilet, and as the water flushes down, we can hear everything flying into the plumbing, and all interest is gone because suddenly the film becomes another rote, by the numbers Superman film with Lex Luthor and his shit that he does. So, follow me on this one. We have a film about Superman being gone for 5 years, right? Superman shows up and everyone's just like, and Lois Lane is like, great, sure, fantastic, I don't want to have anything to do with him. Except for the whole bit about her having his son, but does she even know that he's her son? Here's the thing, a woman would know. Okay? A woman would know who the baby's daddy is, depending on how many baby's daddies potentially there could be. Now, what we're left with the implication is this. Superman and Lois Lane had something going on. Lois Lane then hooks up with Richard White, who is the nephew of Perry White, at some time indeterminate after Superman left. But by that time, she's either already with child or has delivered, and she knows. She knows who the baby's daddy is. Except Superman kissed her, and then they forgot everything about it. So at the end of Superman 2, she was pregnant. Nobody said anything. Can you imagine? So yes, that implication. So yeah, two potential storyline possibilities right there, and both of them are mind-numbingly fucking. So you got the potential that Superman erased Lois Lane's memory with a kiss, and so now she's pregnant and she doesn't have any clue why she's pregnant. How did she get pregnant? Why the fuck is she? What is going on here? And then you got the other possibility where maybe that kiss didn't erase everything. Just maybe let's just ignore that kiss thing. Lois Lane had a relationship with Superman. She got pregnant from it. She knows that she got pregnant from Superman, and she carried his child to term, and that child came out like a normal human being, but when Superman comes back around, she doesn't want to have anything to do with him. She doesn't even want to talk to him about the baby, child. It's like, why the fuck did you leave? The conversation that she has with Superman in the film is something along the lines of, why did you leave us? What was so important? And he goes, well, I had to see Krypton. Okay, but where's the line? It's like, why did you fucking ditch me? I was pregnant. You were what? Yeah, I have a kid, and he's your kid, and you have no idea how much that pissed me off, because I didn't even get to tell you, and now I'm telling you now, and I'm totally freaking out. That would have made a totally fucking great scene. Superman coming to grips with the fact that he has a child with Lois Lane. Like, how that would be, there's a flaw, sorry, that would be a fantastic component of the whole Superman Returns, the Returns aspect of the film. That would be a fantastic moment, and it would allow for some great character interaction, some great dialogue. It would be a really deep moment for how does anyone deal with coming back around and going, oh my god, I have a son, I have a kid, and if a human would be like, how would Superman react to that? Would have been a great moment. No, instead we get no mention of this. And it is saved for that wonderful reveal, which is a great reveal, by the way, when Jason decides to shove a piano across the room and take out this thug who is about to beat up Lois Lane. Now, we could have had that reveal. We could have had that reveal still with Lois Lane going, by the way, this is your son. What the hell? Where'd you go? And Superman, well, it's kind of like in that moment in Forrest Gump, that heartbreaking moment where Forrest is like, is he smart or is he dumb? and he can't even bring himself to say it. Well, like, imagine Superman going, does he have superpowers? Has he exhibited any signs? And Lois Lane is like, he has an albuterol inhaler, for God's sake. He's like Clark Kent. That would have been such a great moment. Can you imagine that? She would have been like, he's as big as pansy as Clark Kent is, and Superman going, And then we could have still had that reveal when Jason displays superpowers, and Lois Lane going, oh fuck. That would have been awesome. Now, here's where we come into more problems. Because the whole returns aspect of the film is largely overshadowed by the menacing plot of Lex Luthor to grow a continent utilizing the crystals and technology of Krypton from the Fortress of Solitude that he visited once upon a time. So yes, we are incorporating more elements of Superman 2, where Lex Luthor did visit the Fortress of Solitude and he saw how all of this technology worked. So, if we can go back to the whole Lois Lane conundrum for just one moment, we can assume that Superman 2 is canon. Therefore, Superman got Lois Lane pregnant, kissed her, made her forget everything, and now we are left with the only possible resolution that Lois Lane did not have any idea how she got pregnant. So when the reveal that Jason has superpowers comes along, can you imagine the mindfuckery going on in that woman's brain when she suddenly realizes, oh, I'm pregnant with Superman's child, and why do I not know this? But of course it's not touched upon because we didn't go that far. Because we're just Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor is why do we have to have a Superman film with Lex Luthor? Every single, except for Superman 3, which you saw how that one went. Lex Luthor was the reason why Superman 4 worked, because Lex Luthor actually did something that wasn't stupid. Yes, the reasoning behind his scientific method was illogical and exasperating, but he actually did something. He created a super being to fight Superman in Superman 4. Whereas in everything else, it was just land and, I'm Superman, whatever. But we're back to Lex Luthor and land. I mean, he starts off with a really interesting thought about Prometheus stealing fire from the gods and giving it to man. And Lex is talking about, I want to give that fire to man, and I want my cut. Okay, I'm down with that. But then it devolves into land. It devolves into land, and it's this nonsensical plot where he grows a continent out of crystals, and he laces it with kryptonite, and like it's a very funneled by the numbers plot where Lex Luthor's up to something. Oh, Superman can't stop me. Well, Superman's back, so I better use kryptonite. And then it makes for a decent scene where Superman gets the shit kicked out of him, but by that time we don't really care. I didn't really have any emotional investment in Superman at that point. I mean, I like Brandon Routh as Superman, don't get me wrong, channeling Christopher Reeve, but like the interest comes from the story, not simply the performance. Like, you have to have some interest from the story. Like, let's take David the Robot from Prometheus. He is the only interesting character in that film, not simply for Michael Fassbender's performance, which was marvelous and is Oscar-worthy. If he doesn't get nominated for something, I will shit my pants because he was brilliant in this film. But the story crafts an interesting weave around him. What exactly are his motivations? Where do his alliances lie? Like, what is he thinking about? And that crafts interest. Superman returns, we get Superman goes into space, Superman comes home. Superman goes, shit, things have changed. Superman goes and saves an airplane, which still has me on the edge of my seat every time. Let me pause and just say that something beautiful about this film. That sequence where Superman saves the falling plane, one of the best directed, best staged, best acted, best special effects, best scored action sequences ever. I get chills every single time I watch that sequence. It is easily the single best Superman moment ever put on film, cartoon, or otherwise. And I'm hoping that next year's Man of Steel will find some way to top that, because that moment is such magic. It is the lightning in a bottle in this film. It is just, oh, it exists in parentheses, baby. It is there, and everything else surrounds it like some weird little fuck storm. God, I love that scene. That scene is beautiful. You go watch that, and you tell me you don't get chills every time you watch it. But that happens, and then Superman flies around. Superman saves shit. Superman has a conversation with Lois. Superman stalks Lois Lane and listens in on her conversations with her fiancé, who was also a very interesting character, I might say. Richard White, played by James Marsden. He was actually a very interesting character. He was loyal, he was supportive, he was self-motivated. He was not just a 2D stereotype of a character. He actually had depth and merit, and he was a genuinely good guy, and I felt like he got screwed over by the end of the film. Or did he? Because the end of the film never actually tells us whether or not Lois Lane leaves him, or they're not in a relationship anymore. It's just, I don't know. The story sets up a lot of interesting dominoes, like what would Superman do if the love of his life was in a relationship with someone else? How would Superman react if he came back to Earth and everyone they got along fine without him? What would Superman do if he discovered that he had a child with a human woman, but he hasn't been there for the first 5 years of his life? It's a very interesting concept that is weighed down entirely by the writer's desire to stick in line with the Richard Donner films. So we get an uninteresting Superman who, if they had gone for something a little bit more original and allowed Brandon Routh to breathe a little bit in his acting performance, he's not a bad actor by any means. He's actually a really good actor. He just tries to be Christopher Reeve. And it's unfortunate because as much as he kind of looks like Reeve and can sort of pull it off to Clark Kent, he doesn't really. His Superman is very wooden, even though his Clark Kent is pretty decent. Kate Bosworth is way better than whoever the fuck played. I don't even remember her name because she was annoying in the Richard Donner Superman, and well, Kate Bosworth was way better than Lois Lane, but that still doesn't account for the misrepresentation and the mischaracterization and the poor writing surrounding Lois Lane. Why doesn't she say anything about the child to Superman? Oh, was it because her memory is wasted? Well, why the fuck doesn't she go, hey, is this your kid? Because I don't remember any of that. So many holes. So many holes. Jimmy Olsen is still Jimmy Olsen, even after 5 years. We have 5 years to potentially grow up, Jimmy, but nope. Perry White is underplayed and toothless. And the whole film just suffers because it is so very by the numbers, because it wants to craft this sense of nostalgia, but at the same time, that's what's holding it back from being truly engaging and interesting. Now, the special effects are fantastic, and the action sequences when they come are pretty fantastic, and if you can slog through everything, it's a decently entertaining film. It just has so many ideas that are thrown into the ether and then never actually really truly addressed, that it is an incredible shame. Overall, the film reaches, it's ambitious, but unfortunately it throws the ball and then doesn't bother to swing. It just goes, I'm going to run around the bases because that's what the runner does. I'm going to fly and catch things because that's what Superman does. But It's still better than the Richard Donner film. Sorry, it really is. The Richard Donner film is pop spectacle, and that's about it. I mean, yeah, it touches on the nature of a man versus it doesn't. I just didn't. No, I just didn't. I never liked the Richard Donner film, so sue me. Yeah, it was a product of its time. Anyways, that is my geek review for Superman Returns. Agree? Disagree? Dislike? Leave me some opinions. Leave me some comments. Let me know. I mean, it's been 25 minutes. You've been sitting here. You've invested your time. Yell at me. Tell me what you think, whether you agree or disagree. And next time, I'm looking at my wall of DVDs behind me. Constantine. That'll be a good one. Constantine. Okay. I'll review Constantine next time. I kind of like that one. So, we'll see if it still holds up.